Kinfolk and skinfolk. It is your favorite fat freckle man, your favorite coach's favorite coach, the big dog himself. Who? Shout out to our beloved co-host, the witty, the wise, the dynamic, the wonderful, the electric and eclectic Mimi, the goddess. In her absence, she's actually out in the ATL at the podcast summit. You know what I'm saying, soaking up some game and stuff like that. So, shout out to her. You know what I mean? So y'all getting an episode with just me. I told y'all these was coming. You know what I mean? I told y'all these was fitting to happen. So let's get settled in. Let's make sure that the YouTube stream is connected. I'm still working on trying to get this on other platforms for y'all. It's just some battles going on because they change their policies here and there. So it's pretty hard for me to get around some of this stuff. But I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure something out at some point. That's my word. All right, let's see what we got going on. Okay, we are live on YouTube. All right, give me a moment as I share the live to our YouTube family, not, excuse me, to our Facebook family, to the lifers. Gotta share it to the lifers. Ugh. See how they try to make stuff difficult? I try to share it straight there and they start acting stupid. All right. Uno momento, por favor. How's everybody week going though, man? How's everybody feeling? Hopefully good, Uh, the other day was the anniversary of the Fade in the Water. So, happy Fade in the Water Day to y'all. Hopefully y'all got to get aggressive with a Caucasian racist. You know what I mean? Hopefully y'all had that opportunity. I wouldn't even be mad if one of y'all put hands on them. Wouldn't even be mad. I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't even be mad at y'all if that's what that happened. But of course, I do want y'all to be safe first and foremost. First and foremost. Let's see. All right. Let me tag a few people who always say they don't see the live when it shows up. Of course, gotta tag Top Chatter. Gotta tag Kane. I'll tag another homie who always say he never gets the notifications. So let's see. And of course, you know, if you do get the notifications and you are in the chat, please, please, please share the live so that other lifers may participate. You know what I mean? Do that for a brother. What they call it? The HBO special. Help a brother out. Um, so let's play catch up right quick while we're making sure that the live is accessible to the Facebook family. Um, so I know y'all hate when I start off. You'll probably hate when I start off with somber news, but I must because I didn't do it last week during the episode with C Cash, because we were already late. But I know that anybody who has been watching my episodes and watching our episodes knows that at some point in time we get a visitor, you know, and not in the chat, but in real life. We get a visitor that tends to walk her way through, and she wants to join in on the conversation. You'll hear her in the background with her meows and stuff like that. I gotta pay her attention from time to time. I told y'all the last episode that I did with Mimi before she went on her break. I told y'all that she was sick, and I'm gonna sorrowfully announce that Goldie has left the building. Miss Golden Honey Mustard is no longer with us. She actually passed that very same Thursday night that Mimi and I did that episode. That was her last episode before the break. So, um, I ain't gonna force a moment of silence on y'all for my family cat, but I will admit, man, because like I said, she's been our family cat as long as we've had, almost as long as my oldest son has been alive. So it took some doing. He and I took it the hardest. Um, my God, John. Shout out to John. Hey, if y'all do not check out the Sports for You podcast, please, please, please check out the Sports for You podcast. If you're a part of the Lifeline, yeah, man. I know y'all see his wrestling posts in there. I know you see his sports posts in there. Show my man some love, man. That's my folks out there with the best podcast on the West Coast. You heard me? Go ahead and tap in with them, man. They good folks. They good folks. Let's see. Okay, okay. We finally got the YouTube live chat showing up in Riverside this week. Hey, won't he do it? Won't he do it? It's all right. But shout out to John, man. Shout out to, everybody that's part of that Sports for You team. Oh my guys. But yeah, so uh what else? Because I don't want to really start the topic until we get some more heads in here. But this is going to be our first sports episode that we've done in a while, first sports edition that we've done in a while. We literally have not done one in a while. We've been waiting on one particular episode that we still gonna give y'all. I'm trying to make all the dots connect on that, and I'm saving that for when Mimi comes back specifically because she has to be part of that for it to do it the proper justice. You feel me? Um, but yeah, so that's what's going on with that. But I said, you know what? Time to hit y'all with a sports episode for those of you who love sports, know sports, want to know sports, or just, like to hear me talk about sports. You know what I mean? Um, so before we get too deep into that, let me do this quick sports rant for y'all. Listen, God rest his soul, Kobe Bean Bryant. We appreciate what he brought to the game, the whole Mamba mentality type thing. Um, but I am one of those people that believes that the conversations they are having around Kobe is atrocious. Like y'all wasn't I have friends who never thought Kobe was that great. One of my young boys called Kobe Diet Mike. Um, you know what I'm saying? There's other people who thought that he was not top three, not top five. And if you never thought he was top 10, I think that's really crazy. But you're entitled to your opinion. What's crazy to me now is to see how many people post mortem and clearly currently boredom feel the need to go ahead and talk about this man's career, career in such a disingenuous way. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I even feel like, I definitely feel like mainstream is doing it. I didn't even like the whole thing that Tracy McGrady said. Oh, if I was, if I got to play with Shaq, I'd have got 3 rings too. Somebody, 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 tell Matt, no, the fuck you wouldn't have. Okay, I hate, I hate that people even think that just because T Mac was like super athletic, super talented, I mean, a great two guard, right? And just because there were some parallels with Cole, that you think that he's somehow interchangeable with Cole. No way in hell. No way in hell could you just say, okay, let me just swap out Kobe with Tracy McGrady. First and foremost, first and foremost, Tracy McGrady doesn't have the intangibles that Kobe has. He wasn't as dedicated to defense as Kobe was. And when you think about who Shaq was, I don't see another two guard in that era being able to deal with Shaq, being able to motivate him when they need to motivate him, especially with Shaq being Shaq. And it would have been Shaq's team. There would have been no debate about whose team it was, T Max or Shaq. It would have been Shaq's team. What was T Mac going to do? Because I think just talent wise, from a talent standpoint, that if instead of being in Orlando, Mac had been in LA with that same team, everybody but Kobe, I think they would have won one chip. Just by T Mac's talent alone in his prime, I think they would have won one chip. Myron, my guy, top chatter in the building, top live chatter in the building. Um, but and the theory would have been if T Mac had better help, he wouldn't have had the back problems and he would have had a better career, which is also false. Because part of the reason, let me just spell that right now. I know I feel like I'm all over the place, but part of the reason why that's not true is I don't know if people know, but one of T Mac's legs is shorter than the other. T Mac actually, for a long portion of his career, had to play with an insert in the shoe. I can't remember which leg it is, but one of his legs are so much shorter than the other leg, they had to play with an insert in that shoe to balance it out. So just imagine in real life, you got one leg longer than the other, you got to put that pressure on it. It's going to put pressure on your back. So it's not just that he had to, metaphorically put teams on his back because he didn't have a lot of help in Orlando. The man eventually would have had back problems anyway. But again, I think that the conversations are nasty. Taking him out of the top 10, you know, thinking that you could just replace him with another superstar two guard and get the same results. I keep asking if it's not to degrade or to take away from Kobe's legacy, if people are not trying to do that, then my biggest question is why weren't we having these conversations when Kobe was alive? Why was T Mac not saying this when Kobe was alive? Hey man, if I'd have had the team you had, I'd have had 3 rings too. Why? Kobe was retired for quite a few years before his passing. He was retired for a few years before his passing. Why you never came out and said that then, Matt? Don't wait till like all these years, like you don't wait till 5 years after the man gone? Come on, man. Come on, man. That's nasty work. Nasty work. Y'all got to stop putting smut on Cold name. Y'all don't have to like him. He ain't got to be your favorite player. He's definitely not my favorite player. Never was either, to be honest with y'all. But I just don't like when people just do disingenuous things just for clout, clicks, and that sort of thing. All right, so we got John in, we got Myron in here, waiting to see who else gonna come through before I get started on my point. Um, let me before I get to it, let me make sure that the Facebookers again have access to the live. Uh, my internet not trying to internet tonight, but we're not gonna let that stop the flow. What else y'all had going on this week, man? What else did I have going on this week? I should say, right? Um, what else did I have going on this week? Honestly, life was solid this week. Kobe not here to defend it. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. Why I think it's very nasty to have certain conversations, certain, and I'm gonna use the word again, certain disingenuous conversations about Kobe's career at this point. Y'all having these conversations while he's not here to weigh in. Because I guarantee you that y'all could have never had these conversations with Kobe when he could answer. Hey Cole, do you think if T are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Drop it low, girl. Yes, that is the name of this episode. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You gotta have, some witty titles and stuff like that. So for those who may not have seen the preview clip to today's episode, it's 15 minutes in, so I'll get to it. For those who have not seen the preview clip that I posted earlier about tonight's episode, we are going to have the conversation about lowering the rims in the WNBA. It's Myron's favorite sport. He subscribed to League Pass just for the WNBA. His jersey, his custom jersey is on the way in. You know what I'm saying? He got a Caitlin Clark jersey that should be on its way in. You know what I'm saying? So make sure when you get that jersey that you posted, Myron. All right. When you go to the next New York Liberty game, make sure you have it on. Feel me? Represent. Just rep your set. Rep your set, Myron. All right. So let's get to it. All right. So we know. Let's just get this out the way. We are all in agreement. Whoever is watching this, whoever's on the sound under the sound of my voice, I'm pretty sure we are. I got my Do It Lady jersey. uh, I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure that we are all under the agreement that despite how, maybe morally, ethically, whatever, the WNBA players being able to make a lot more money than what they're making would be great. However, both the way that they're going about securing bigger paychecks and both their demand for considerably bigger paychecks is absurd. It's absurd. I know that there's women that's tired of hearing the same talking points about how they don't bring in enough money. Well, they don't. I know they're tired of hearing that they are subsidized by the NBA. Well, they are. I mean, y'all could talk about, ladies, y'all could talk about whatever facts y'all tired of hearing, but that doesn't make them any less factual. The fact is, the WNBA is perpetually on life support. Um, there's many variant factors, and we don't have to get into all of them tonight. But what I can tell you is just simply, men are the majority of viewers slash patrons for the WNBA, right? As such, most men are not pleased with the product currently. A lot of guys who I know who still watch WNBA, they would tell you that they prefer the older NBA players, the NBA players, WNBA players, excuse me, from back in the day. They felt like that WNBA was slightly more entertaining than this current WNBA. So the whole so Ace, what up, bro? Lower the rim for what? So we can see them do basic Robert Parrish dunks. Listen, this is why we about to get into this conversation, bro. Because I keep seeing it everywhere. My man Keith, shout out to Mr. Know It All. He mentioned it on his episode recently, with his co-host, Kelly Q. Shout out to you, love. And of course, shout out to Ty, the curator, who was on that episode when they were having that discussion. He and I have personally had the discussion and cannot come to an agreement. But he, like a lot of people, including Shaq, big dumbass. Okay, side rant real quick. I love basketball. It's obvious. People who know me know that. I love to talk about basketball. What you're not going to do if you're going to talk basketball with me is bring Shaq's opinion into the equation. Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley are on a very famous basketball show, but these two guys couldn't give less of a shit about basketball. Like they watch on the nights where they have to talk about the games because they get paid to talk about it. But if you even just look into Shaq's podcast that he has with Adam Lefko, I believe, he will say shit and Adam Lefko has to fact check it because Shaq don't know what the hell he be talking about. Like he'll say, "Oh, I don't watch this. Nobody likes this team. They're slow. They're boring. They're methodical. Nobody wants to watch that kind of basketball anymore." Adam Lefko looks in his joint. Hey, Shaq, did you know this team plays at the fastest pace in the NBA? Why would I know that? I don't watch them. So just as a quick example. But yes, Shaq is one of the people who's been suggesting lowering the rims for years, along with his recent suggestion of lowering the rim and having Angel Reese dunk in shorts that got her booty hanging out, but he's supposed to be like a big brother figure. Okay, let's get away from Shaq. Um, Lower the rim has been the cry for so many people. Lower the rim, lower the rim, lower the rim. I had this point for later on, but since my brother Ace brought it up, let's get to that point right away. There's no point, there's no reasonable point that you can lower the rims for the ladies to where it will make it entertaining to watch. Because everybody who wants to see dunks, nobody wants to see rim grazers. Nobody wants to see rim grazers. Nobody wants to see that dunk that Lisa Leslie did when she got the first dunk in the WNBA. Like it was cool when it was the first, like, oh, somebody finally did it. Yay. Nobody wants to lower the rims to see a bunch of women do that. I guarantee. I guarantee. Okay. Shaq, I said we're gonna go away from, but I heard him say on another podcast with two other young ladies, oh, don't lower it like to 8 because then that's clownish. Lower it to like 9 something instead of 10 feet. People who agree with them, y'all missing, y'all on the wrong boat. Most of the girls in the WNBA currently can't dunk. Most of the women in the WNBA cannot dunk. You have that big ass bum, Pops Grinder, who could easily dunk, no matter what the rim height is at. I think Rakia Jackson could dunk. Cameron Brink can dunk. I'm trying to think. There's a couple more players uh, that could dunk, but all of the ones I named, rim grazer, and that's currently. So if you lower it to what 9.95, 9.3, they're not gonna all of a sudden be doing LeBron tomahawk, bring it back from here dunks. You're not gonna see a windmill by lowering it to 9 anything. Pops Grinder, hey, that's what Boy said he wanted to be called, Pops. When they was having that interview, he said, "Oh, Brittany, you're gonna be a new mom." Grinder said, "Pops, Pops, Pops." So Pops Grinder, thanks for joining the chat, Ty. So that's first and foremost. Nobody wants to see that shit, bro. Nobody wants to see that there'll be more women barely getting their hand and the rim over the ball. You're gonna see a bunch of Sprite commercial Jones because they're gonna end up hitting that boing right at the front of the rim. It's gonna be a bunch of those because now it's going to inspire more women to try it. Okay, you're gonna have a bunch of rim out dunks, and then you're going to probably have a couple of injuries too. So That's reason number one. It wasn't my number one reason, but since my bro spoke on it, I feel like delaying it doesn't make any sense. Lowering the rim, you have to lower it so low for women to be able to do explosive dunks. We're talking like 8 feet. And at that point, it's gonna look goofy as hell. Like it'll look cool at first, like the first girl, the first woman to posterize another woman. That you everybody will go, oh, the people who react, they'll do, the hoop reactors, they'll do the oh, get out the chair joint that they do. We'll do all that. We'll do all that. And then like by the second month of the WNBA, we'll be tired of that shit. We will be tired of that shit. It won't be entertaining anymore. It'll be like, all right, man. All right, man. Because then it's like, all right, well, who gonna go between the legs? Like, because because there's no place for them to, because none of them are dunking regularly enough to practice the crazy dunks that we really want to see. Like we said, after the first, month of body to body contact, pause, uh, excuse me, at the rim, that shit gonna get boring. That shit's gonna get boring. You got to think about it from a realistic place. Even with the NBA, the first dunks you saw were plain. It wasn't until people who had been dunking for years, on top of years, on top of years. I am not doing the cheeks thing with y'all. Pause. I am not even humoring that conversation with Ace nor Myron. Because if y'all saying y'all want the lingerie league, that's a totally different conversation. Go between the legs. All right, Myron, you got it. Um, but um, you tell me that's crazy, but you was just talking about that's where the cheeks come in. All right, Myra. I think that's where the cheeks come in is way crazier. Anyway, like you're not gonna see, uh great dunks because it will take women years, even once you make the rim low enough for women to dunk, it will take women years to be able to evolve to that point to where, and all the practices, of course, that it will take to get to that point to try the things that they want to try, right? Like I said, same thing happened with the NBA. And I don't know if people know this. I want to throw this quick fact in here because not cheeks, but something in the middle. Now that's pause. Taya, you gotta help me out, Ty. What is the middle ground between regulation basketball jerseys and cheeks being out? What is the middle ground? You gotta help me with that because I am lost. That's what we want. That's what we need. Listen, again, if you want the lingerie league of basketball, that's cool. That's cool. And then I guarantee you, they'll never make the money that they want because the lingerie league with football never made that kind of money. Because at that point, you're not going to take it serious. Like, let's just be honest. At that point, it's bad enough they're not being taken seriously as professionals. Then they really never going to be taken serious. The chat is certainly wilding, bro. Something more girly. You gotta help me out here. What are you saying? Skirts? Like they can't play in anything else. That's the thing about it. Outside of literally like draws, like the lingerie league, outside of like that kind of gear, they're not going to be able to play in anything that uh more girly that won't get in the way of their ability to play. Sundress is the middle ground. I can't stand Byron. There's no way. I don't care. I'm not watching the Sundress Basketball League. Yo, y'all are on some ish tonight. They look like dudes. They listen, the ones that look like dudes. But this is probably the lingerie football was fire. But you didn't look at it for football. You didn't care that it was football. And where is it now? How long did the lingerie How long did the lingerie basketball league last? I mean, football league last. Like, let's just keep it a bean. Let's keep it a beam. The lingerie league, as cool as it was, as innovative as an idea that it was, and as much as this idea said, we don't give a shit about y'all taking the sport seriously. We are appealing to the male fan base to get their dollars. I understand. I understand that. But how long did it last? Are we still watching it now? You know what I'm saying? Like let's be honest. That would have been that was over that didn't last 10 years. That didn't even last 10 years. So telling them that they've been around for like 30 something years, telling them that they've been around for 30 something years to do something that might only last them another 10 doesn't really work as a solution, y'all. The WNBA needs to bring in casual fans. Absolutely. Absolutely. They absolutely need more casual fans. That's something I was going to speak on later, but since you brought it up, Ty, let's get to it. There is no connection. There is no connection to the casual fan, to the casual passerby from the WNBA. Absolutely none. Their marketing department is trash. Like, there's people with WNBA teams in their city that don't know the team exists in their city. Why don't you have the celebrities in that city or a celebrity in that city? Like, not so much to be the mascot, but why aren't you partnering with them? Take that money that the NBA is getting you so that y'all can market your product. Like, there's a Golden State Valkyrie commercial on when the WNBA is playing that includes Draymond, Steph. Why not? Because it's not like the NBA players don't lend any support to the WNBA. They do, and they do it for free, mind you. These dudes will go to the game for free. You have dudes that wore WNBA jerseys during the playoffs. Didn't get no check off for that. So then why would you at the WNBA not tap in with these players? They will support y'all. They already are. Tap in with them so that the casual person who knows who a Devin Booker is, who knows who a Steph Curry is, who knows who a shit, ain't nobody currently on the Chicago Bulls, if we're being honest. But you know what I'm saying? Who knows who a Jalen Brunson is? People know them people. So tie that in and make it work. The chicks are trash. They don't have enough good players to hold interest for long. The product is trash. I completely disagree with you. I completely disagree with you. And I will even say that you don't watch enough. You don't watch enough to qualify that the players are trash. You don't. You don't. The players are not trash. If let's go to this topic about players being trash, right? Okay, cool. If you think the players are trash, look at, and this is another reason why lowering the rim doesn't make sense. Look at the NBA. They dunk all types of dunks in the NBA, right? They even have that crappy behind NBA dunk contest. It's not going to matter, bro, what they try. If games aren't entertaining enough, then people are not going to support it. Nah, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Hold on. I'll get back to that in a second. I'll get back to that in a second. So, because again, and respect to, the lifers and stuff like that, but most of y'all have not sat through multiple WNBA games. Here's where the problem is, where the problem is where people are running to this whole lower the rim thing. It's not that the players can't play, because in fact, here goes a counterpoint to that. So yes, the entertainment value has to increase, right? But it's not about the skill while there's no entertainment value. It's because you're just seeing the game. Case in point. Case in point, Tyre. Case in point. When the WNBA season finished last season, you know what they did? the players got together and put on their own league, a 3v3 league, right? They can't beat any men's college teams. That is a dumb argument point. That is a dumb argument point, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. That's lazy. They can't beat any men's college teams. You're not playing against men. I could say that for any sport that you have women being excellent at, you can put probably college athletes against them and they would fry the women. U.S. women's soccer makes money every year. Not every year, every Olympics. Every 4 years. Every 4 years. They go crazy for women's soccer. That same women's soccer team, very well-known players at the time, lost to a team of high school boys. So if you're going to say they garbage because they can't beat men, well, duh. Like, let's just keep it a bean. Let's keep it a bean. At this, like, it's lazy reasoning. So you're not going to do it because they're supposed to be men or they're supposed to be able to beat men. Go ahead and find your favorite female. Get Clarissa Shields and put her against somebody who is mid at boxing. They are going to beat her. We know this. So that is terrible reason, Myron. Come on, y'all. If we're going to do this conversation, we're going to point these things out. I'm not going to let y'all get away with lazy reasoning. We're not doing that. The WNBA All-Star game this year was rated trash, rated T for trash, to the point where even Candace Parker had to have a conversation with Aaliyah Boston on her podcast and say that she was pissed off that it was so trash this year. So I'm not arguing about that. They also didn't take it seriously, which is really stupid, right? Because I think the NBA is having the same problem. The NBA is having the exact same problem with their All-Star game, if we haven't noticed, that the ratings have dropped year after year after year after year because those players don't care. The talent level stinks. In comparison to what, Myron? You watch dudes miss easy baskets every game. Again, this is lazy. This is lazy. We watch men smoke layups in the NBA every game. Every game. Every game. I promise you. Go back and watch the tape. You will watch men miss open layups. You watch men miss at the free throw line. Nobody's guarding you. And you have dudes who shoot 60% at the layup line as professional basketball players, bro. It's just a bad argument once you start bringing in things like men, bro. Like, that's all I'm saying. Leave that as that. Leave that as that. It's not only because I have the mic, it's because I'm saying things that's true. Because listen, case in point. Case in point. Hold on. Let me go back. Yeah, they did. Again, that's the marketing issue, Ty, that we didn't know the game was on until you saw the shirts, which was stupid. Shout out to McBuckets for hitting 8 threes in a half. Right, Fobs. So my whole thing is this. Again, why lowering the rim makes no sense. It doesn't improve the product. Not constantly. You don't constantly see it every game with the WNBA either. Y'all gonna run these 2 or 3 clips where they show back-to-back missed layups, bro. Like, y'all not. That's why I'm saying it's a disingenuous argument. Nobody's watching. No, it's not because I got the mic, because you already know. I told you. If you feel a way about it, you could drop the same link I gave you before. You could jump in the chat. But the facts are the facts. Comparing women's basketball to men's basketball and saying it's trash because they're not men is a weak argument. God, it's weak. That's not the point. We don't expect them to be men. We don't even expect it to be, again, the whole dunk thing is done. It's done. Because the NBA has all the dunks. The NBA has the best athletes in the world, and they lose it ratings for the last 5 years. Here's again where y'all talk when y'all want to talk about skill issue though. Y'all want to talk about skill issue? Cool. Listen, you ain't got to tell him to stop. You do not have to tell him to stop, Ty. These how these conversations go, and that's what makes the episode good. Let him do his thing. But here's another point where I know y'all be capping because I know that most of y'all don't watch like that. Every year, and I mean every single year, women's college basketball, since you want to talk about college players, women's college basketball ratings are through the roof for the last 4 years. For the last 4 years, women's college basketball, the ratings have outdone the NBA All-Star game. It does the men's Final Four, and it rivals the Super Bowl. They haven't outdone the Super Bowl yet, but it rivals the Super Bowl. And that is women's college basketball. Just to be clear, these are facts. Y'all can look them up. Every year for the past 4 years. So when y'all talk about, oh, the talent's not there, it's there. It's the same women. In fact, not only is it the same women, these women are not like the NBA where you go college 1 year and then you go to the NBA the next. They're in college for 4 years. 4 years before they hit the WNBA. So you've been watching these same women play for the last 4 years. You watch Caitlin. Caitlin was in the college for 4 years. I mean, we only saw like about 3, but people only cared about 2, right? That's the same Caitlin Clark. Same for Angel Reese at LSU. People only noticed her for 2 years when she was with LSU. She was with Maryland as a freshman and a sophomore. That's the very self-same girl. She didn't all of a sudden, you know what I mean, become a different person when she came to the WNBA. And just like in the WNBA, just like in the NBA, you got people who's going to look like stars at the college level. And then it's a little bit harder once you're playing against people that are better than you. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can't talk about skill issue if we being honest. When the WNCAA breaks records in attendance and ratings every year for the past 4 years, what do you think is so different? And there's no dunking going on there. There's no dunking going on there. There's no booty shorts. What do you think is so different that the WNBA can't replicate? I have an answer, but I'm going to ask y'all, what do y'all think is so different between women's college ball, why it's so successful, and the WNBA, why it's not? Y'all in the chat, let me know. I'm going to give y'all a moment to answer that one. That's like saying Glow can't beat. I'm lucky it ain't working. I guess. Right. It is like saying Glow can't beat WWF Tire. Exactly. It's come on, bro. Like as much as I watch Anjanae, shout out to her, as much as I watch her fry dudes, and all her clips and stuff like that, she's playing dudes that's like, we don't know how good these dudes are and how good they ain't. And not to mention, a lot of them don't even take her seriously enough. And I'm not saying she's not good. Maybe she's better than them, right? Because you do have, in every sport, you'll have girls or women that's so good, they can beat some men, but they're not beating the dudes that's at the top of their level. Like if they're at the top of the level, the dudes that's at that top of the level, they're not beating. It's not going to be close. Glow, what was it? I'm trying to remember the letters. It was women's wrestling. but I was trying to remember the letters. Um, uh, something League of Women. I can't. Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Thank you. Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Thank you, Ty. Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. That was Glow. That was their wrestling league. Yes, indeed. Like, yeah, you can't put Jade Cargill against no dude. Come on, come on. Let's have a real conversation. Let's have a real conversation if we're gonna have it. But like I said, just that to take the dude thing out of the conversation and just look at the females. What is it? I ask y'all again. What is it that y'all think is so different about women's college basketball? Why it's skyrocketing success wise, and the WNBA still can't get but so far. Like they had a good year last year, but like what's the difference? What y'all think the difference is? They said Myron got a PCS, a Metro PCS. Jeannie Buss has an indie wrestling league out here called Wow. That is true. I forgot about that, John. How was that league doing? I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it. And John, you know sports, like I said, so feel free to chime in on what you think the difference is. Myron, once with you is enough. He was on twice. Um, I don't know. He need a better signal or something. And even because I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be fair here. I feel like college students will support regardless. Great answer. Great answer. But they're also supposed to be supporting dudes too. So why are they supporting the dudes more than they're supporting the women? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like that's a great answer because it's true, bro. Ace said that he feels like college students will support regardless. Right. Women's college basketball comes with a built-in fan base. Like how Taya said that there's no connection to the casuals. There's a connection to the casuals through the college, right? Even if you didn't go to the college, there are people who root for Villanova who live in Philly, even though technically Villanova ain't Philly, right? But they feel connected to it. There is no connection to these WNBA teams and fan bases. There's no connection. You sick of me, Taya? Yes, Myra. Say yes, Myra. Oh man, not sick of me. Stop trolling. He not trolling. He feel like he got answers. He feel like he got answers. So again, any of the things we've talked about just now, none of it has to do with lowering the rims, making it more successful. The WNBA has so many. Yeah, that's why I said, Myron, you're not trolling. You have your opinions, facts. Um, the WNBA has so many problems outside of that dunks won't fix a damn thing. Go ahead and get Joanna Man in the league and let them dunk on everyone. And again, it won't matter, right? Because and let's be honest about men. Let's be honest about men. Okay, can we do that? So women start dunking. Again, it's going to be these basic rim grazer dunks, right? You start letting a couple of women get posterized. All right, that's going to be cool. For the men who just don't like women's basketball, because that's a thing. There are people who just don't like women's basketball. They don't enjoy it. So for the people who don't enjoy women's basketball, once it gets old, they'll start using the dunks against women. Ah, that dunk wasn't that thorough. Or it will be also the only reason you could dunk because it's lower. Because the WNBA already has advantages on the NBA that makes it more playable for women. They're shooting with a smaller ball at a closer range. That's why I don't like the comparing of skill and capability one for one with men. That's another reason why, because it's literally not the same sport. Like that's why when you hear dudes say, "Oh, I could go to the WNBA and put up 50," not all them dudes is lying, y'all. I know it sounds reductive. I know it sounds disrespectful, but the truth is, if you give a D1 college athlete a smaller ball to shoot from a closer range, a D1 male college player is going to fry shit. He just is. Again, this is why trying to make a one for one comparison with men is bogus. It's completely unfair because when you have men's sports, not just basketball, mind y'all, when you have men's sports and women's sports, a lot of time it's not the same sport. And I know women don't like to hear that because they feel like I'm kicking them down and putting them down, but it's just the truth. With boxing, you're not using the same weighted gloves. Don't believe me? Don't believe me? Go back and YouTube Serena Williams. They said Serena Williams is so good, they're pretty sure she could beat a couple of the guys. Serena Williams said out her own mouth that was cat. She said, please don't ever match me up against one of these guys. It's going to be 40 love their way. Yeah, I know we had fun during these doubles, and here was her words. It's a different game. The power that they're hitting with, I can't match it. As strong as Serena is, as dominant as she's been in women's tennis. Y'all think she said that just because she felt like saying it? No, she not capping. She understand. It's only weirdos like Pops Grinder that think that they can beat their male counterparts. Talking about some she won a 1v1 with DeMarcus Cousins. I'll bet my house on DeMarcus Cousins now, right now, outside of the NBA, DeMarcus Cousins versus Pops Grinder. Are you kidding me? So again, let's keep that completely off the table. The men comparing them to men. Let's just go with what's the problem with the WNBA, right? We've mentioned it. No connection to the fans. The jerseys aren't attractive enough, right? Because on top of them not being attractive enough on women, they're not attractive enough to make people want to buy and wear them. Am I lying? There's not more of a bunch of these WNBA jerseys that make somebody like, yo, I want to rock that. And the WNBA does a piss poor job of making stars out of their players. Piss poor job. Back in the day, they were way better. Everybody knew who Cynthia Cooper was. Everybody knew who Maya Moore was. Everybody knew a Cheryl Swoops, Teresa Weatherspoon. What's my dog name? Oh, I fuck with her so heavy. Shanique Holdsclaw. And she wasn't even who I was thinking about, but everybody knew who that was. What's my guard? Well, not guard, she a forward. And she got a game like Melo. She played at LSU. Oh my God, I feel so bad not remember her name because I loved her as a player. She played for Minnesota. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man, I'm gonna feel bad that I did not remember. Simone Augustus. People knew that. People knew those names. People knew those names. People who watched the WNBA knew those names. Right now, people know Asia Wilson, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. That's it. For real, for real. For real, for real. That's it. Like as far as like you can go anywhere and somebody might recognize who those women are. That's it right now. People knew who Dawn Staley was. Sue Bird. Um, White Mamba. What was her name? Good Lord. My memory is doing real bad. Oh, Phoenix Mercury. She's they goat. Oh my God. I feel terrible not being able to remember her name. You said who? You don't like the sport, Myron. Like this is what I mean by disingenuous conversation, right? I can't tell you nothing about Future, the rapper. I can't tell you nothing about Future, the rapper, for real, for real. You know why? Because I don't really enjoy his music like that. So I can't tell you nothing about his musical catalog because I have absolutely no investment in it. I don't enjoy his music. I don't think his music is particularly good. My bro on here, Ace, feel completely different about Future. Completely different. He'll be able to tell you what was this album and that album and this album and that album and his favorite joint off that album. I couldn't tell you because I have no interest in it. So when you have such a disinterest in something that you don't rock with it at all, yet you're gonna say stuff like who you wouldn't know because you don't care. So it's not so you're being disingenuous to even try to speak that far on it, bro. You can't speak facts about things that you that you don't take the time to know or study or figure out. I try to like the WNBA, and I can't take that away from you. Maybe you do, bro. Maybe you do. I can't call you a liar for that. But if you don't know, you don't know, right? And if you don't, and if you generally and genuinely don't have this a true actual interest, then you're not gonna figure it out. So that's what I'm saying. Um, Kev, you thought you was the only way that felt that way about Future. No, you're not the only one, bro. You're not the only one. March Madness, I swear to God, March Madness is the only Future song I play on purpose. I promise you. I promise you, Kev. March Madness is literally the only Future song I play on purpose. I don't even really enjoy Future features. I still want to go upside his head for what he did on The King is Dead, on that Kendrick Lamar Black Panther soundtrack feature. I still hate what he did with that to this day. So listen, we done went roundabout. We done talked about a lot of different things, but I think at the end of the day, we all agree lowering the rims ain't gonna do shit for the WNBA at all. At all. I said I don't know what Future is saying. Some songs I don't understand what he's saying either. Some I do. I ain't gonna lie. Some I do. Some I do. But I just don't really enjoy it. I don't listen to a lot of rap, but I know who Future is. That means something. Heard like two or three names out of the stars you mentioned. But that's exactly the point that I was making, Myron. That is exactly the point that I was making. Is that they're not doing the job to make household names, to make it so that somebody who does not care, the casuals, as Taya said, there's no way to connect to the casual. Like you know who Candace Parker is. You probably wasn't really watching the WNBA ever, but you know who Candace Parker is, bro. You know who Lisa Leslie is. Like, that's a fact. But again, literally, I promise you, I promise you, as popular as Kelsey Plum might be among diehard WNBA fans, the average person don't know who she is, yo. They don't. And she's one of the top players in the league. Like, the NBA has done such a better job of marketing that people know players that wasn't that good, but you just like them anyway. And the WNBA don't make stars out of their players, man. Like, never heard of Candace Parker. All right. All right. See, I tried to roll with you and say that you wasn't trolling, but now you said you never heard of Candace Parker. We're done here, Myron. We're done here, Myron. I'm just talking to everybody else. Nigga said he never heard of Candace Parker. Get the fuck out of here. Um. Anyway, I appreciate everybody who joined the conversation. Um. Again, uh, I didn't even get to itemize all the reasons why lowering the rim won't do shit for the NBA, WNBA, and why it's a bad idea. But I think that I hit the main reason in the head that one, the dunks are not going to be good. Two, if you lower it enough for the dunks to be good, people will stop caring within a very, 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 very short space of time. You're not sorry, bro. You're not sorry. Get out my face, Myron. Get off my face, bro. I tried to rock with you that you wasn't trolling, and that's what you did, bro. Like you proved me wrong. I was rocking with you, and you make me look like the liar, bro. Nah, man, get off my face, bro. Uh, um, but yeah, what was the other one I had? Um, yeah, it's not gonna do nothing for the game. It's not gonna do nothing for the game. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I didn't even bring up the fact that people watch basketball where dunking doesn't happen. People are fans of basketball players without dunking. Like, honestly, somebody like Sabrina Ionescu and Caitlin Clark, their games, you would say, if you had a male parallel, you would say it's closer to Steph Curry than anything else. Steph Curry not known for dunking. You can't probably play back in your mind five Steph Curry dunks in his career. You probably can't play that back in your fucking mind. But because he can shoot from how far he can shoot and he can make those shots regularly, you watch him. Caitlin Clark is taking the exact same shots. I promise you. Sabrina Ionescu is taking some of those exact same shots. Matter of fact, when they matched up a couple of years ago during NBA All-Star Weekend, you had Sabrina Ionescu shooting against Steph Curry, and the ratings at that point were through the roof because people wanted to see it. So, like, it's not about dunking being the X factor. It's not at all. Um, it's the fact that and it's not about lack of skill because there are people who are just as skilled. It's about the fact that they don't do enough to make people care about their product. Bottom line, that league does not do anywhere enough to make people care about their product. So that's why they ain't making no bread. That's why asking for more bread doesn't make sense. And that's why, most importantly, no matter how much you lower the rim for them to do crazy dunks, it will not save the WNBA. It will not fix their problems. Oh, there was something I meant to tell y'all earlier. Now that Kev mentioned that most of them don't look athletic. I'm looking at one of the games, probably thinking I could play better than some of them, and I don't even play basketball. No, they try you. They try you because you got to guard them. You probably could muscle them to the rim. You know what I'm saying? You can probably just just off of sheer strength, like you said, push your way to the rim and score. But you're not gonna be able to stay in front of them. Um, you're not gonna be able to stay in front of them. Like, nah, nah. WNBA does things periodically and get a spark and then stop doing the things that get the spark. Exactly, Tyre. They don't put in the work. They do not put in the work to make the fans care about the sport. Um, you don't even see highlight reels like that. Like that's the part that don't make no sense. Like, why don't y'all make highlight reels out of y'all players? Why is that not blowing YouTube up? Y'all stars should have highlight reels out of what they do well, besides just Caitlin Clark hitting threes. Why is there not more highlight reels of Nafisha Collier? Why? Why? Ron Howard. Like, and here's what else I wanted to say to y'all. Where because I mentioned it earlier, and I'm gonna mention this other fact, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Um, the women put on a 3-on-3 league called Unrivaled after they season last year. And the Unrivaled League made more money that season, in that short season, okay, than the WNBA did. They had better ratings for 3-on-3 basketball than the whole season of 5-on-5. Look it up. If you do not believe me, look it up. The Unrivaled 3v3 basketball league, players got paid more for that 3v3 league than they did for the whole season of 5-on-5. Not to mention, they made money off of it because they got endorsements off of it. You had players who, like Myron mentioned, people don't know. But if you watch this 3v3 league, because it's only 3 people per team, certain people are going to be on longer than other people, and you'd be able to know that name. Where's that sounds more interesting? Apparently, people thought it was more interesting because they watched it, bro. Like the ratings for Unrivaled was good. It was really good, especially in comparison to the WNBA. And they'll be coming back again after the season finishes because they started hiring, well, not hiring, excuse me. They've signed, they made enough money. They made enough money to sign college athletes to NILs. Just think about that. The league that you did 1 year, 3v3 basketball, made enough money to where you can give NILs to college players. But y'all been playing in the WNBA for decades and y'all pockets hurt. Up until recently, y'all had to keep going overseas to go play to supplement y'all paychecks, which is why they made the Unrivaled League. They said, hey, we shouldn't always have to go travel over in, Uzbekistan and, all these places to try to make money. We should be able to make money here playing basketball. That's why the Unrivaled League was created. And it's the same girls. It's not like, oh, well, we picked this street ball player, girl, da da da. It's the same women. It's the same women. It's the same women. The only one who didn't play uh, of notable name that people would know is Caitlin Clark. She didn't play in it, but Angel Reese played. Asia play? I take that back. Asia didn't play either. So you had a lot of notable names that played. Is it half court? No, it's full court 3-on-3. Full court 3-on-3 basketball. People watch that way more than they watched the NBA game, WNBA games. So that's why when y'all tell me things about skill, about this and that and the other, I'm like, no, because there's other formats where women's basketball works. Not to mention that the same overseas basketball that these women keep going to play, those are also subsidized by male teams, but they call it clubs, right? So the male club subsidizes the women's clubs, but they have enough money to pay them a lot of money, which is why people came from here to go play over there. Sounds less interesting? If you say so. If you say so, the game was a lot faster. The game was a lot faster. And I think that's part of the reason why it seemed more interesting too, is because the game was a lot faster. You have you have more opportunity for 1v1 matchups, right? Because there's so much space across the floor. So, you have a lot of, you going at that person going at you, which is what people really enjoy about the NBA at its peak, is that you had a lot of those ISO situations. So then you could see a star be a star and see why they're good at what they're good at. Um, but to cap this Duncan thing off, I don't know if y'all knew this. Um, it's also men's fault why women can't dunk. Men get blamed for everything, and I hate it, but this is actually on men because they literally made it a penalty for women to dunk the ball for for a long time. Like, you had women's basketball becoming a thing. Like, just like, not famous or anything, but just when women started playing basketball. So let's say 10 years, 12 years into women's playing basketball, right? You notice that women are going to keep playing basketball. They install the rule that women are not allowed to dunk. And they kept it that way for the longest. So since there was no pro league, right? You're only playing in high school and college. So if you're not allowed to dunk in high school, you're not allowed to dunk in college. What are you practicing it for? So there was no incentive for women to try to learn how to dunk. There was never any incentive. And there's not really one now. You have women who do it just because they want to, but like, there's no real incentive there. So while you have more women that's capable of doing it now, what's the point? Um, yeah, it was a penalty for men to dunk too at a certain point, but the reason why it was a it wasn't the reason why it was a penalty for men to dunk is because black men was doing it. That's when it became a penalty for men to dunk, Myron. Is because these big ass black men was doing it, and they got tired of getting dunked on. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? It didn't start off where men wasn't allowed to dunk. That it didn't start off there. That was a rule that was instituted mainly, if we being honest, mainly because of Kareem. Mainly because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's why the rule uh, where men wasn't allowed to dunk was invented. The game didn't start off that way. Whereas in women started off not being allowed to dunk. And I feel like that's wild, right? Because I don't think that women even Keith said, and even what somebody else said in the chat earlier, I can't remember who, basically saying that physically women don't naturally come equipped with the skill to dunk. So why did y'all make a rule to keep women from doing something if they couldn't do it? So I feel like they must have made that rule because they saw some girl go up and boom that joint, and it was like, oh, hell no. Hell no. We letting y'all play the sport, but we not letting y'all dunk too. Nah. It wasn't ladylike. It might listen. They might have really felt that way, bro. In the times that we thinking of, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the exact reason, is that they found it unladylike. But yeah, women wasn't allowed to dunk for the longest. Even when Candace Parker was in high school, when she first started high school, she got attacked for dunking in girls' leagues. It wasn't until she played with boys in boys' leagues where it wasn't no big deal. And then I guess by, like, 90s and stuff like that, they relaxed the rule because it wasn't really worried about it. So yeah, it's it's I figured that little tidbit to kind of give some context to a certain degree as to, yet another reason why there's such a big gap in that particular athletic feat. Um, but yeah, I think I've said enough. I appreciate everybody for making the conversation pop the way it did. Um, but yeah, going back to what Myron said, because I think that's funny as hell. But yeah, like it's really Kareem's fault why there was why men being Duncan was outlawed. They got tired of him just destroying everybody. Like he was like God. Um, what about that one chick that got drafted to the NBA? Nancy Lieberman couldn't dunk. She was a bucket though. Nancy Lieberman couldn't dunk, but she was a bucket. She wasn't trying to dunk. She was just trying to score, and she could. Um, and technically there was two women, but she was the only one who got to sign. Technically, there were two women who got drafted to the NBA, but Nancy Lieberman was the only one who got to sign. I can't remember the other lady's name though. Um, and Nancy Lieberman, I feel like she coaches in the Big Three. She coaches, if I'm not mistaken, she coaches in Ice Cube's Big Three. I call her Jacqueline Robinson. Shut up, Myra. Jacqueline Robinson. So she's still Jackie Robinson for short. I can't stand this nigga, man. But yeah. So that being said, man, please stop coming to me with this dumbass solution. Because it's not one. It's not one. It's not gonna solve anything. I promise you, it won't solve anything. The WNBA has bigger problems than not dunking. Um, it won't fix anything. Again, they'll get a boost for like a month, two max, and then after that, nobody's gonna give a shit. They're gonna be like, man, and go back to not liking the WNBA the way they did before. Um, get out of here with your female Jackie Robinson, Myra. Once again, I appreciate everybody who joined the chat, man. Um, shout out to John, man. Yeah, I'm not even repeating that. So you could all right, I ain't gonna say it to you, Murray, because we met at the end of the day, and you my bro. So I'm not gonna say what I was about to say, but don't piss me off, nigga. Um, shout out to John and Sports for You on the West Coast, man. My guys on the West Coast that do they sports show. Check them out. They are live Fridays. I wanna say I want to say 8 o'clock Fridays. Um, it's 9 o'clock here Eastern Standard Time, but it's either 7 or 8 o'clock there on the West Coast time. Um, so shout out to John for joining the chat. Of course, shout out to Ty the curator, my dog. Shout out to A.C.E, my brother who he always be. Shout out to our number one live chatter, Myron, man. Myron Hyman, man. Number one chatter. He get on my nerves sometimes, but he is the number one live chatter for Life Be Life. And give that man his respect. Um, Kev, glad that you was able to make it. I tagged Kay, and I know he probably gonna be like, "Damn, I missed it." Yeah, you missed it, bro. Like I tagged you. Um, tried to make sure you knew. Um, so yeah, I ain't here to beg y'all to give the WNBA a chance. You don't fuck with it, you don't fuck with it. It is what it is, man. I just want y'all to stop having uh disingenuous arguments about it. I just want y'all to stop speaking like y'all know what y'all don't know. And back to what I said before, stop putting smut on Kobe name that you wouldn't say when he was alive because it's corny, it's weak. Outside of that, man, again, thank y'all all for tuning in. Shout out to Mimi the Goddess and her absence. Shout out to her while she's out there at the podcast summit with Big Sis Famika, man. Much love to them. And let's wrap this up. As I always say, be smart, be respectful, be patient. Be kind to as many people as you possibly can. I know some people's gonna make it impossible. That's fine. Just make sure every single day, y'all, every single day, to take time to be kind to yourselves because you cannot pour from an empty cup. We're gonna start making more of these and sell these to y'all. For real, for real. Gotta get y'all some merch. That being said, man, once again, I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all shared the live. If you like our content, like the content. I know y'all be watching and stuff like that, but smack the like button, please, 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 because it's gonna help the channel get out to more people who's not already part of the fold. Share the live. Share whether it's whatever social media you're on. Man, send it in a text message to somebody. You heard me? Okay. If you know any other sports fanatic, this was a sports episode. Send it to them. I don't care if they disagree with me, whatever. Mamba for life, for sure. Ty, you already know Mamba mentality all day, every day. Um, that's all. Like I ain't got no Patreon to charge y'all for yet. So for now, while everything is free, that's all I need y'all to do is just keep liking, keep sharing, and if you ain't subscribed already, god damn it, subscribe. You heard me? Take care of yourselves. I love y'all. Peace.